Welcome back to the Prison Yard TV. So today, as you can see, I've been working off of my phone. I think I like it a little bit better than my actual camera, my laptop. I had a failure. My laptop crashed. I'll be getting another one sometime this week. I don't know when. So as you can tell by the thumbnail, today we're going to talk about the beginning of my 15-year sentence. And it started off actually the 35 worst days of my life. I'm going to tell you why. Once you get established somewhere, when you get to any prison yard or any cell on a yard or any dorm on a yard and you get established, you do not like to leave. You don't like to uproot and have to go someplace else and start all over and get established and meet new people and so forth and so forth. So I told you in another video before this one that I started out in DVI, reception center side. Then once I got classified, I got endorsed and they sent me to Corcoran. Never been to Corcoran. Matter of fact, at this time, I only been in up north prisons. I never been down south or mid California. What's that called? I never been nowhere but up north prisons up until this point. So Corcoran was the first. We say from up here, we say down south prison, even though it's not really down south. It's halfway between up north and down south. So it was different for me. So I got endorsed to Corcoran, and I get to Corcoran the middle of 2010 sometime. I don't remember what month. I get to Corcoran, and the whole time I'm on the reception center side, I'm looking forward to getting to a main line because I hear you could buy phones on the main line. So I'm looking forward to buying a phone. Everybody that's on the reception center side, that's what they look forward to. Getting to a main line, pricing phones, and buying a phone. I already have my money stacked up. All I had to do was find one to buy a phone. So I get to Corcoran 2010. Like I told you before, I thought I was going to be a level 4 from the gate because of how much time I had. And I ended up 1 point away from level 4. I was level 3. So I'm one ride up away from a level 4. So they sent me to Corcoran B Yard. At the time, B Yard at Old Corcoran was a GP level 3 yard. So I get there. There's 10, 12, maybe even 14 Northern Crips there who I run with. So I know the majority of them. Magoo from Nogales was there. Kevin Slaughter, BK from North Highlands was there. Little Maniac from 29th Street was there. Little Gunsmoke from 29th Street just had left from there. Wicked from 44Gs was there. Little Wicked. So we had a few homies there when I get there. So it didn't take me long. It didn't take me long to acquire who was the man with the phones, and it happened to be Lunatic Frank. Lunatic Frank is from Rolling 60s. I heard his name throughout my prison career. His name always popped up when you heard about Rolling 60s. His name usually popped up. His name, MD, and Pretty Boy. I know Pretty Boy quite well. I know the older Rolling 60s because I'm an older individual. So I know of the older generation Rolling 60s. I met Keita Rock on the street. I know him from folks in prison. But Lunatic Frank was one that I never met, but I heard a lot about. So when I get there, the homies tell me that talk to Lunatic Frank. He's the one, he can get me a phone, which I did. Talk to Lunatic Frank. I ended up buying a phone from him. I can't remember the exact price, but I know it was between $1,500 and $2,000. So I buy a phone from Lunatic Frank, and it's a little flip phone. And it's a mini, not a real miniature flip phone, but it's smaller than a regular flip phone. And I believe it was a Samsung. It was black. He gave me the phone, the charger, everything. for between $1,500 and $2,000. So I'm programming. And anyone that knows me from the street or prison knows that I gamble. I gamble in prison, I gamble on the street. That's what I do. I enjoy it. I'm good at it. And just so happens, Lunatic Frank, he ran the poker table on the yard. Now, nowadays, let me back up. So when I was in prison before, when you gambled, you bet with stamps, hygiene, cigarettes, canteen, stuff of that nature. This time when I got there, they was gambling for green dots. And what I mean by that is your family would go to Rite Aid, Walgreens, and buy you a green dot reload card, and you could buy them for between $20 and $500. And once they scratch the numbers off of that and give it to their people in prison, their people can load that up to a card and it's money. So that's what Lunatic Frank ran, a poker table for green dot cards. And maximum buy-in was $500, and then you could rebuy in again. So we had 5 players at this table, and everyone bought in for $500 a day. And some people re-upped if they lost their money and bought in for nothing. And what you would do was you would get a $500 green dot card. You would bring it to Lunatic Frank's cell. He would check the numbers on his phone, make sure they're good, make sure they ain't been used, and then he'd give you $500 worth of chips. You'd go to the yard, and we'd play poker. Whoever won by the end of the day, whoever had the most chips, he would divide the money up, and he'd give you it back. He would pay you in green dot on a green dot card, or reload your card, so I should say. So I was into gambling when I first got there. So I bought my phone. My first celly was an old cat. I'm in orientation in I want to say 3 building. They call 5 building the jungle, and I was trying to get to 5 building because that's where Magoo was. And me and Magoo, you know, we was the 2 oldest people, 2 oldest NCs there. He's a little bit younger than me, so I was basically the oldest homie there in my car. So I was trying to get a 5 building, but I was in 3 block, and I was in the cell in orientation with the older cat, and he was a boxer. He was in his 60s, late 60s, and that was his name, Boxer, and he was a downtown gangster. What I mean by that, he lived on Skid Row in L.A., and a lot of L.A. cats knew of this cat. So I guess he boxed professionally, and then his luck ran out, and he became homeless or whatnot. He was a cool dude, though. So from there, I got my own cell. Lunatic Frank moved me downstairs, and I got my own cell by myself. Well, I moved Little Wicked from Northside Gangster from Stockton in the cell with me. I had a phone. Of course, he wanted to use the phone all the time. So I let him move in the cell with me, and we got along cool. But let me tell you something about Little Wicked. And this ain't to put nobody down. That ain't what this channel's for. But I need to give you kind of a picture of what was going on in Corcoran, because it all comes together. While I'm doing this video, it all comes together at the end. So Little Wicked, he was a cool cat. His second time in prison, he was in his mid-20s, youngster, and he wasn't the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but he was cool. He just wasn't that bright. He wasn't that savvy. He was a hothead. He was basically a crash dummy. He was a crash dummy, and he wasn't that bright. He got into it with Lunatic Frank one day because, you know, we don't supposed to sleep during the day. You're supposed to roll your mattress up when you get up and stay up all day. 8 o'clock shutdown, you're supposed to go to sleep, wake up early in the morning. Well, Wicked liked to go to sleep in the daytime. Lunatic Frank came to the cell looking for me. I wasn't there. I was at I don't know, medical or something. And he woke Wicked up, and Wicked got loud with Lunatic Frank and cussed him out. So they was about to fight, and I didn't want that to happen. Lunatic Frank probably would have smashed Little Wicked because he had more experience. He was bigger. Lunatic Frank is short. He's probably 5'6", but he's stocky. And I heard stories about him. I wasn't afraid of Lunatic Frank. He was the homie, though. I kicked it with him every day. So I'm there doing my thing, gambling. Never got a job while I was there. And after I was there, probably I know it was in November. So I don't know what month I got there. Sometime in November before Thanksgiving, my door opens up before chow. Now, chow at Corcoran on B Yard, we never went to the chow hall. They used to come feed us in the cell. They used to cell feed us. Open up our tray slots, feed us in the morning, give us our lunch. Then at dinner time, they lock us up, come feed us in the cell. For whatever reason, I think there was too much violence in the chow halls. So they decided to cell feed everyone. I never went to the chow hall in Corcoran when I was there. Okay, so one morning, I get up at 6 a.m. every morning. Wash up, put my shoes on, roll my mattress up, do my rituals, pray, read, watch the news, whatever I do. So I'm up at 6 every morning. Stay up kind of late on my phone, talking to people, texting. I didn't have a smartphone at this time, so I wasn't on the internet. I did make a Facebook page though with Lunatic Frank's phone. I did make my first Facebook page in 2010 in Corcoran. That was my first Facebook page I made. Didn't really use it that much. I didn't utilize it. So anyway, I'm there about 5 months. It's November 2010. And my cell door opens up. It's probably 6 something in the morning. I'm awake, but it surprised me. Cell doors don't open up until yard or work release, right? So when they open up my door, the guard's tower, because he's straight in my cell, and he calls my name. He's like, roll your stuff up. You're leaving out to court. I'm like, out to court? What the hell? I ain't got no damn court. So I go to the officer station. He's like, man, I don't know. R&R just called and told me to roll your stuff up, pack your property, and you're going out to court. So I sat there and talked to him for a minute. He said, let me call and find out. So he called him to find out. I go back to my cell, start rolling my stuff up. Now, I got a cell phone. Like I said, Little Wicked is not that bright. So I really don't want to leave the cell phone there. And besides, I don't know where I'm going or when I'm coming back. So I want to take my cell phone with me. I don't want to pack it in my property because I don't know if the goon squad is going to go through my property when I'm gone. So I've heard about people hooping their phone. Now, the most I've ever hooped at this time was drugs and tobacco and a knife now and then. Never tried to hoop a phone. The phone was probably 2 inches wide, probably 3 to 4 inches long. It was a smaller than a regular flip phone. So he calls me back up to the officer station and he tells me Washington State is there to pick me up. I got court in Washington State. Mind you, in 2007, 2007, I got out of prison in Washington State and they put me on 9 months community custody, which is equivalent to parole in California. They gave me 9 months community custody and I ran, came out to California, was home like 8 months, 9 months, and caught my case that I was in prison for now in California, but I never went back and did the community custody, so they put a warrant out for my arrest. It just so happened it came up when I'm doing my California prison time. So I go back to the cell, I pack up all my property, wrap my phone up in plastic, put some Vaseline on it, and hoop it. As soon as I stand up, it comes back down. Lunatic Frank, he's the worker out in the building. He's the building worker. He does the sweeping and mopping. He comes by the cell because he heard the cop call my name. He's like, "What's up, dog?" I'm like, "Man, I'm going out of, I'm going." He's like, "What are you gonna do with your phone?" Mind you, I bought it from him. I'm like, "I'm gonna take it with me." He's like, "Okay." So he told me how to hoop it. He told me, sit down on the toilet. When I hoop it and get it halfway up, stand up and relax, and it'll just go up by itself. Sure enough, it worked. However, it hurt like hell. Every time I sat on my bunk to pack the rest of my property, it was hurting, man. It was hurting bad. But I figured, I'm going to go down to R&R. They're going to drive me from Corcoran all the way to the airport, which I thought would have been Sac Airport or LA Airport. We're in the middle. We get on the plane, be on the plane an hour and a half, go to where I'm going and unhoop it. I'd take it out within 3 hours, right? Maybe 4. That didn't happen. So I hoop the phone, get the phone up, go to R&R. They put my property in the rotunda in my building, go to R&R, and there's 2 Thurston County detectives in R&R. They strip me out. They tell me I have a court date, I don't know, somewhere before Thanksgiving, and that we're about to drive clear to Washington. We'd be there, and they got vouchers to buy me anything I wanted to eat on the way. And I'm like, drive to Washington? He's like, yeah, in your medical file, it says that you can't fly. You got a heart condition. And I don't know if I lied to these people and told them I had a heart condition or whatnot. Whenever I go to prison, I try to get as much out of them as possible. Try to get the best medical care. And I probably told them that, whatnot. At the time, I didn't have no heart condition. But luck have it, I have heart conditions now, probably for lying back then about it. Had a heart attack a couple years ago on the street. So anyways, he tells me we're going to be driving across country to Washington State, to Olympia, Washington. He said we'll be there in about 12 to 13 hours. I got this damn phone up in me. He also tells me we can eat anything I want to eat on the way. Anybody knows when you're hooping something that big, when you eat and you have to shit, you're going to have to shit that out, clean it up, and put it back in after you shit. That's a hard task, especially when you got 2 cops down your neck. So what happens is we leave Corcoran. He knows I didn't eat breakfast. We stop at Del Taco, somewhere in around Corcoran. I don't know. We was about 20, 30 minutes out of Corcoran, coming back up north. We was going through Reading to get to Washington. We stop at a Del Taco. I can't stand Del Taco. He asked me what I wanted. I told him I'm cool. He's like, they got good breakfast burritos here. I said, okay. So he orders me 2 breakfast burritos and a large orange juice. I eat one of my breakfast burritos. I drink the orange juice. Within an hour, I have to shit. I don't know if it was because of the car ride, me bouncing in the car, the phone at the edge of my asshole trying to come out. I don't know, but it was hurting and I felt like I had to shit, so I told him. He pulls into this truck stop. It was actually a gas station truck stop. You know, where the diesels come in? And they had a bathroom inside with showers for truckers, and then they had a little bathroom outside. Well, he took me to the bathroom outside, opened the door, and let me go in by myself. There was no windows in there. I couldn't have got out, and he stood by the door. He uncuffed one of my handcuffs, let me go in there. Of course, I shit the damn phone out, washed it up with soap, went in there, took my shit, used some soap, hooped my phone back, right? Took me about 5 minutes to do all that. Come back out, get in the car. It took us probably about 13 hours to get to Washington. He took me straight to Thurston County Jail. I get to Thurston County Jail, and during my stay there in 2005 to 2007, I was a fuck up. I ended up hitting the police there, was in the hole for over a year there. All the police knew me there. Now, mind you, Thurston County Jail is the smallest jail I've ever been to in my life. It might hold 300 inmates at the most. Each pod has 15 cells in it, maybe 18. There's 3 tiers, and there's either 5 or 6 cells on a tier. So there's 15, 18 cells, 2-man cells, someone. So, and I think there's 4 pods for men, 2 pods for women. So you could get the gist of how this jail is. It's very white. 95% of the inmates are white, and 99% of the guards are white. Very prejudiced ass little jail, little ass town, Olympia, Washington. It's the capital of Washington, the state of Washington. So all these cops know me there. So when I get there, of course, they're waiting for me. They know I'm coming. Strip me out. And they put me in the high-powered tank. In the high-powered tank, everyone in jail wears blue, not a jumpsuit. They're blue top and blue pants, canvas. High-powered wears red, and the whole wears white. So they give me a red jumpsuit. I go to the high-powered tank. I'm always in the high-powered tank when I'm there. And there was 2 ladies that worked there, COs. One is deceased now. I want to say rest in peace, Hochter, Joni Hochter. I want to say rest in peace to Joni Hochter. If it wasn't for her, I would have had life in the state of Washington. She helped me beat my case, my bank robbery cases. She was passing notes for me to Vanessa when we was both housed in the county jail. She really did help me beat my case. I don't want to get in. I'll do a video on that later on about how her and Ponytail Brown helped me beat my case in Washington. So she seen me when I first got there. She was in R&R. She came to my I think it was E tank or H tank, high powered. Said hi to me. Of course, I trusted her. As much as you could trust a cop, I trusted her. She liked me a lot. She liked Vanessa a lot. So by the time she came to my cell, I had my phone out and I showed it to her. I told her I'm going to need her to charge my phone tomorrow because I'm going to get on it tonight and I don't have a charger. And she laughed and she's like, what the fuck? She mouthed the words, what the fuck? How did you get that in here? Now, mind you, I got people on each side of me in cells next to me, so she really couldn't talk to me that much. But she's like, no. I'm like, well, bring me a battery. And I showed her the phone, what kind it was. So to make a long story short, she didn't charge my phone for me, but she did bring me a couple batteries for it. Rest in peace, Joni Hochter again. She was my angel when I was down there. Anyways, I go to court before Thanksgiving. Maybe I'm there 4 or 5 days. I go to court before Thanksgiving. And the reason why I had a warrant is because I never did community custody. So they had a warrant out for my arrest. I owed them 9 months community custody. So, of course, while I'm there, I called my old lawyer, Richard Woodrow, who represented me in my case. And he came and represented me for this court that I was going to court now. And it was just a violation, or they was trying to get me to do their 9 months community custody. So I told Rich about my sentence that I was doing in California, the 15-year sentence. He went in there. The judge ultimately said, look, you're doing 15 years in California. We're dismissing this case without prejudice or with prejudice. I don't know what it was. And you're free to go. Case dismissed. They knew I had 15 years to do this little 9 months community custody. They was wasting their money. I go back to the county jail. Now, mind you, Thurston County drove down there to pick me up, right? Now, I'm thinking it's Thurston County's, I'm thinking it's their responsibility to get me back to California. And they're telling me, no, California has to come get me. So I'm writing grievances and all kind of shit. And they're telling me it's up to California. They notify California that I'm done. California ain't in no rush to come get me. So I'm writing Sacramento. And I'm telling them, look, I came to court. I'm doing 15 years. I'm in this jail. I don't want to be here. I wrote so much paperwork. Well, California was lagging. So I was there 35 days. I was there over 30 days through Christmas. Finally, what California did was they hired Tri-County's transportation to come get me. This is where it gets very interesting. Tri-Counties is a company that transports inmates that has court dates from state to state all throughout the United States. They go from New York, New Jersey, to California, to Oregon, to Washington. They transfer people and take people to their court dates all over the United States of America. And it's called Tri-Counties Transportation. They're a low budget ass company. So the day after Christmas, the 26th of December, 2010, Tri-Counties comes to get me. They take me up to R&R in Thurston County. And I'm going to make this a 2-part video. That's what I'm going to do. So I just gave you the whole spiel about why I had to go to Thurston County and what happened in Thurston County about my phone, right? I'm going to make this a 2-part video. It gets very interesting from this point forward until I get back to Corcoran. Trust me, the next 5 to 6 days gets very interesting. And I'll continue this later on in part 2. This is another episode of True Stories. I hope you're enjoying these videos. This story gets very interesting. I know the first part of it, the first episode is very boring, but trust me when I say this, the second part, you don't want to miss. I could have escaped. I had my phone. I tried to have sex in this van. It gets very interesting. You guys don't want to miss episode 2. Episode 2 will come out tomorrow. This is another episode of True Stories. I thank you for tuning in to the Prison Yard TV. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscription button. Hit that like button and become a member, man. Hit that join button. It's $3.99, the cheapest to become a member. $9.99 if you want to become a silver member. If you want to become a gold member, it's $24.99. If you want to become a platinum member, it's $49.99. But $3.99, you become a member of my channel. You have all different kind of perks. Become a member of my channel. And don't miss the up and coming episode 2 of this story, man. It gets crazy. This is probably the craziest story I have while I'm in jail, as far as not craziness, but it's so crazy, it's unbelievable. It's crazy though. You guys don't want to miss part 2, episode 2. Check you guys out tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Tell the people you love them. Check y'all out tomorrow.